Ready? Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunday Sessions here on a sunny morning in London. Today we're making Hainanese chicken and rice. Hainanese chicken rice, Hainanese chicken and rice. Hainan is a very small island on the very southern coast of China, and this dish spread like to Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, all of those places. Everyone's got a different variation of it, and here's mine from sunny Edmonton. So basically all it is boiled chicken, rice that's cooked with like aromatics and fat from the bird, and then we're doing three different sauces actually. We've got a ginger and spring onion sauce, a sweet soy sauce, and a chili sauce, right? And it's basically cold chicken, beautiful clear broth, and some delicious rice with condiments, and you eat it on the plate just like that. Fast, quick, easy food, but food that has fucking shaped countries and cultures all around that part of the world. So what you're going to need first is a beautiful chicken. This is the Norfolk Black. I actually bought this from a supermarket. Shout out Sainsbury's. This was in the like better end section. The nicer the chicken for this, the better the outcome is, because we're flavouring water, we're flavouring rice, and we want a beautifully cooked chicken at the end. So when I say fat cooked in rice, what we need to do is trim away any excess. So there's like a little bit of neck skin here that can come with us. We can take off this bum, which is called the parson's nose, just straight through. And then I just want to give the thighs and the legs a little yank. And then there's this excess skin in here, right? And we're going to cut this away, and that's also going to render into our rice, right? Nice bits of free chicken skin, which equals fat, which equals flavour, yeah? So that's it. Now, my chicken is dry. I'm going to give it a little sprinkling of salt, making sure I get inside the cavity and all over the bud. And I'm also going to give it a little sprinkling of sugar, right? And this is going to give us some sweetness. And we're basically dry brining this chicken, yeah? So the salt and the sugar, the salt's going to pull the moisture out of the chicken, and the sugar's then going to be allowed to absorb into our chicken to give us just another flavor characteristics. And I guess what we're doing here is we're building umami, we're building those flavors of like MSG and deliciousness. That's it, done. Liberally coated, yeah, like the Democrats. Let this rest for 30 minutes. Now, in the real world, it's rested 30 minutes and we're back. We've got a big pot of water on, which I'm just going to dunk my chicken into. And then we're going to bring this up to the boil on its own as is, yeah? On its ones, nothing else inside it. Lid on, bring to the boil. Now, what this does is it allows all of the gunk and stuff on our first boil to be removed from the chicken. Any raw blood, any bits of shit that we don't want comes away when we wash that water away, right? Gonna give this chopping board that's had chicken on it a little wash. Right, so the chicken's come up to the boil. I've rinsed the chicken in cold water, washed the pan, and I've now filled it again with cold water. We're going to add the aromats. So the reason we do 2 boils is to get rid of the gunk and the shitty bits that we don't need, and we're now adding bits to the water that are going to flavour it, yeah? So I've got a whole packet of shiitake mushrooms, earthy, delicious. I like these because when you fart afterwards, they smell exactly the same. So shiitake's going just like that. And although this chicken's going to poach for about 45 minutes, they won't overcook. They're robust mushrooms. They'll take a batter in. It'll be cool. I've got maybe 2 thumb-sized bits of ginger, leaving the skin on. This is, again, just to season the water. This is going to give us background, flavour, because although this is like food that's all about what's local and fucking everyone being able to afford to eat it and cook it, it doesn't mean that we can't add flavors to it. This is like the Asian version of a mirepoix. Anywhere you go in the world, there's a mirepoix. In Europe, we use onions, carrots, celery. And in Asia, it would be like ginger, garlic, chili, spring onion, this, that, and the other. So wherever you go, the base ingredients to dishes change, but it's the same premise. So ginger goes in, just like that. Skin on as well, it doesn't fucking matter. And because we're serving this as a soup afterwards, we want all of these light, delicious flavors in our broth, essentially, because we're not making a chicken stock. We're flavoring poaching water. Chicken. If this were to be a chicken stock, it'd be what we call a blonde stock, where you're not roasting bones and it's just slow bits of meat tipping over in water, basically, right? I said basically a lot because it's basically what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cloves of garlic, peeled. Don't do anything to them. You can give them a bash if you want. I can't be fucking bothered. Plonk. I then have 2 bunches of spring onions. Now, when you buy spring onions, they are dirty, so make sure that you wash them and peel them, because we don't want any of this dirt in our broth, basically. There's some things we can cowboy. This isn't one of them, right? So take all the dirty bits off the springos and just give them a little peel. So taking off the first layer. So we're doing white and green, doesn't matter. And this is just basically the same as putting onions in a stock. Instead, these are green and they're sweet. I think it's the one thing that you'll always find in my fridge is an abundance of spring onions. I grew up with Camille, so basically spring onions are a snack. You pull one out of the fridge and you're like, oh, spring onion, and you just eat it as is, whether it be with like a bit of chicken or a bit of meat or beside a sandwich. Different cultures eat different things in different ways, and for me, a raw spring onion with a grilled bit of meat, fantastic. Right, it's 2 bunches of spring onions. Just going to chop these in half, and they're going to go in to our poaching liquor. Now, not traditional. Not everything has to be traditional, but when I trialed this, I've done it twice. And the second time I did it, I added a teaspoon of fennel seeds, a teaspoon of coriander seeds, and a teaspoon of whole black pepper, right? And it made the broth that much more fragrant and aromatic, and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to go in a teaspoon of each. So then 2 teaspoons of white sugar. I want you to season this as if it was a bowl of pasta water. Like, this is 2, 3 big pinches of salt. Yeah? And then, secret ingredient, George, can you pass me that MSG, please? 1, 2, and a bit. So that's about a big heaped tablespoon of MSG. And now, so at no point should this broth come to a rolling boil, right? Rolling boils draw out impurities and things that we don't want very quickly. What we want to do is bring this up to the boil, drop it down to simmer, and then gently poach. That way the chicken is allowed to cook, but the flavor is also allowed to extract from the chicken. If we rolling boil this, you're going to have cloudy, gloopy, not clean flavored chicken broth, right? And what we do want at the end of this is to have what my dad called water when I served it to him, because it's clear and delicious. And it's just like a subtle byproduct of addition. Why not drink that? It's sucked up all the nutrients from the bird, right? So we're going to mix this all in. All mixed in, lid on, yeah? Up to a gradual boil. Don't bring this up and then let it roll and be like, oh my God, it's fucking boiling. Be diligent at this point, right? You have to be here and focused. I'm not going anywhere. It's not going to overboil. So as I said at the top of the show, we are doing a seasoned rice and 3 different sauces. The rice has to be cooked with the stock from the chicken, yeah? So you've got to wait for your chicken to be cooked. So Here's one I made earlier. Chicken's still about to come out to the boil, but here is the liquor from yesterday's chicken that we're going to make this rice with. So when you're draining your chicken when it's cooked, we're reserving liquor to cook rice with and to drink. I'll get to that later. But all we really want to do is make a beautiful rice to accompany our beautiful chicken. So I have ginger, garlic, shallots, yeah? Trinity shit. Stuff that's delicious already that we don't need to do much to. Gonna peel out this ginger. Now you can do a spoon, but I feel like sometimes using a sharp knife is just as good, and you don't get fucking your hands covered in ginger piss. So I feel like when you do it with a spoon, you are bruising the ginger, right? Just get yourself a sharp knife and just peel it like a ethnic auntie. You didn't grow up with your ethnic auntie. I'm now your ethnic auntie. Hello and welcome. Square off the ginger, and I'm just going to do nice slivers so I can julienne it from slices into matchsticks. Because where this is going into the rice, I don't want someone to get a big piece of ginger caught in between their teeth. I want everything to be uniform and you're almost using the ginger for its flavour. You don't really want it for much else. And then from julienne into what the French call brunoise, which we call fine dice. Yeah? Take your time. You've got chicken coming up to a boil. You're in no rush. Like so. I reckon if you only know how to measure in tablespoons, that's probably a tablespoon and a half of chopped ginger, which is the equivalent of 2, 3, 5 shallots. Yeah? So we're going to do the same. We're going to chop these shallots nice and small, and the shallots are going to give us sweetness. Just take the tops off, go down the middle, split them in half. If you're finding it difficult to fine dice or slice or do anything with veg or protein or whatever, 9 times out of 10, it's because your knife's not sharp enough, right? And it's almost more dangerous to chop things with sharp knife it's almost more dangerous to chop things with dull knives because you're adding a lot more force and pressure to get through things. And if you make a slip, although the knife's blunt, it will still go through your fingers. So invest in a good knife. I'm using Kin. Shout out my Kin guys. And just learn how to look after your knife, polishing it on a whetstone or learning how to sharpen it with a steel first. But believe me, the more care and attention you take into those little things, the better your dishes are. And I know it sounds anal, and I know it's like, oh, it's just a chef talking about chef things, but it is true. Imagine getting a haircut with dull scissors and it would pull your hair from the roots and it'd be fucking buttered. Shout out Kem, I know you watch this and you'll understand that anecdote, I think they're called. Or going to the dentist, your dentist drills is blunt or something. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't work. Make sure your thing's sharp and make sure you're fucking practicing PPE. And then part of PPE of being a chef is having a sharp knife, right? So dice your shallots the same size as your ginger. Again, we're using you for flavour. So if you're looking at this in parts, 1 part ginger, 2 parts shallot, yeah? And then the last thing we need to chop is some garlics. 1, 2, 3, 4 cloves of garlic I'm gonna go with. Leave those for something else. And then I'm just gonna dice the garlic like I would an onion. Ginger, shallots, garlic, done. We've got reserve stock. I've got washed rice. Let's check if this has come up to the boil. Look, chicken is up to the boil. Any like foamy parts, we're just going to skim away. Right, so chicken's come up to the boil. Depending on the size of your chicken, anything more than a 1.6, between 1.6 and 1.8, I want you to gently poach your chicken for about 35 minutes. Yeah? Thank you. I cook rice the same way I cook rice every day of my life. It's in the 7-Up Poaching video. Short, stubby Japanese rice or jasmine. You're going to wash your rice until the water runs clear, and then you're going to soak your rice, yeah? The cup that you've measured your rice in is the amount of stock that you're going to need to cook the rice with. Make sense? Make sense, George? Makes sense. Wash, measure water with the same mug, cut your aromatics, make a rice, yeah? Easy. Now, this leftover chicken fat that we pulled away from that bird, that's slowly rendering in the sun, which is delicious, we're just going to chop into nicer pieces, small pieces. It's going to release all of its fat, and this is what's going to give us that beautiful chicken flavored rice, right? So I'm just chopping away the skin. Chicken fat looks weird because the chicken is a Norfolk black, so it's a breeder chicken that's black, and that's why it looks darker than it is. Your chicken, depending on what kind of breed you get, will either be white, or if it's corn-fed, it'll be yellow. Don't worry about it, it's fine. All we want is chickeny, fatty goodness in our ricey. Just like so. Fuck these two goopy bits off. Now, we're going to get our pan on heat. Where's my lighter? Pan on heat. And we're going to fry off this chicken fat so it renders out all of its flavour, yeah? So, a little glug of oil. I'm using neutral, this is just sunflower. Cover the base of the pan, yeah? Right, so fat goes in. And just let it render slowly. Don't put it into boiling oil because you're cooking it too fast. We just want this to bleed its flavour, yeah? Chicken's gone a beautiful brown, almost the same colour as the spoon, right? And we're left with all of this beautiful chickeny fat. All of this is flavour now, right? We're going to cook our bits and bobs in this chicken fat. We're going to go with ginger and shallots first because they've got sugar. We want to build sweetness. And now our pan's come up to a temperature where we're frying. We're just going to fry this in the chicken fat until it's soft, translucent, and a tiny bit dark. I want to build as much sugar and flavour in the bottom of the pan, just to make... Now, I don't think beautifully cooked rice is boring at all. I think beautifully cooked rice is one of the key things to a happy life. But to be able to add flavours to a rice and get that right too, is just a step into like fucking heaven, basically. A normal rice is purgatory, seasoned and flavoured rice is heaven, yeah? So, fry this off, nice colour. I'm gonna add a little crack of salt, just to get our layers of seasoning going. So now that we've seasoned it, we're gonna taste ginger, we're gonna taste shallots, we're gonna taste chicken skin. And we just wanna slowly build all of that flavour together, right? Now, I want to build even more flavour with using secret MSG. And don't be scared of MSG, you fucking racists. There's nothing wrong with it. All of that like Chinese restaurant syndrome and it making people feel butters and bloated and blah, blah, blah. It's clinically proven. There's been years of studies and tests to prove that all of that is fucking food racism and bullshit, yeah? MSG is just fucking powdered form umami. It was made by a Japanese chemist who figured out that certain ingredients carried the umami flavor, and he fucking worked out what the compounds were and put it into form. That's it. Stop being a racist, all right? Thank you. Right, shallots are starting to colour. I'm going to go in with the garlic. You hear the bottom of my pan that's scraping? That's the sugars in the bottom of my pan, right? So I know everything's at the fucking right point. Shallots are cooked off, ginger's there. Garlic's been frying for about 45 seconds to a minute. And at this point, we're gonna add our washed rice. That's just the excess moisture cooking off of our rice. And we're almost gonna fry the rice for about a minute or so, right? So it's gonna soak up all of the chicken fat. It's gonna soak up all the caramelized goodness. And there's like little flecks of brown deliciousness. Now the rice has gone in, we're gonna go another little season. I don't want to stir too much at this point now because we've washed all the starch off of our rice, but if we stir continuously here, we're now allowing the rice to break down and re-add all the starch back to our rice. But really what we want is individual grains, right? So this is the same amount of chicken cooking liquor from in there that I've measured the rice in, the same mug, right? This just goes into here. Give it a little stir. And let's have a tiny little taste to see if we've got enough salt, enough MSG, enough chicken flavour. Well, hot dog. Hot dog, ladies and gentlemen, hot dog. So that, lid, bring up to the boil, drop the heat completely as low as you can get it. 10 minutes on the lowest heat, and then just let it stand. And when we're ready, we'll have beautiful fucking rice. Nice. Right, rice is done, chicken slowly poaching. We're gonna make 2 dipping sauces. So I have I have 1 thumb-sized piece of ginger, 2 spring onions. And the spring onions, same thing. We're just gonna slice and peel and make sure there's no dirt on our spring onions. So essentially, where this is just chicken and rice, you want little condiments that are gonna change your flavor palettes and your profile once in a while, right? So we've got a sweet, gingery, like fiery spring onion dipping sauce. We've got a sweet soy sauce, and we're gonna have like a fiery dipping sauce that's like squashed chilies, ginger and garlic, piece of piss. So we're gonna brunoise up this ginger again. And yeah, there is a lot of chopping in this recipe, but it's cooking, isn't it? What do you expect it to be? Ginger's cut. Spring onion. Now, be nice to this spring onion. Slice it nicely, yeah? Uniform, cute little rings. Done. Spring onions, ginger. Now, I've cut the spring onions. I've cut the spring onions pretty small because we're not really cooking this, but what we are doing is we're pouring over hot oil, yeah? So we're gonna get some oil in this frying pan. Enough to like almost shallow fry. I'm not deep frying, I'm shallow frying, right? We're flavoring the ginger, making like an oil, right? Which is then gonna go into the spring onion sauce, which is our green sauce. But whilst we're doing that, we might as well make the red sauce as well. And the red sauce basically is however many chilies you want and how hot you want it to be with some garlic and some MSG. I'm gonna go maybe 6 red chilies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red chilies, a small clove of garlic, some salt to help break it down, some sugar, about a teaspoon, just to balance, a teaspoon of MSG, and I'm actually going to plonk in a few more chilies because these are like on their last legs, so I might as well turn these into a sauce. And where they're being a sauce, if they're under oil, it'll live up to a month basically, so I might as well use them. And then we're just going to so base for the chilies done, base for the spring onions done. Spring onions need to go in a heat-proof bowl, yeah? Don't put this in fucking plastic and then pour the hot oil over and be like, oh my God, I've melted my entire fucking bowl and it's all over my legs, I need to go to hospital. Put it in a metal bowl, yeah? And we're gonna go same ingredient profiles with no garlic. We're just gonna go a crack of salt, a little smidge of sugar, a smidge of MSG, and about a tablespoon of sesame oil. I'm going to bring this oil up to about smoking point, right? It's got to be hot in order for this to work because we need the residual heat to cook off our remaining ingredients. We're going to fry the ginger a little bit and it's going to make our oil ginger based. But these two, when you pour the oil over or pour this into the oil has to be hot. It needs to cook. You can't have it raw, yeah? A lot of chopping in this recipe, isn't there? Don't worry, this is the last step. Rice is done, chicken's cooked. Right, so ginger is going to go into this oil. Not violently frying, but enough to start the frying process. We want to take the edge off the ginger, right? Raw ginger can be quite fierce and intense. We're just taking that edge off. Just fry it. You can smell it straight away. It's super fragrant. And we're going to take it to a point where it's almost like slightly golden brown. But all this is doing now is cooking the ginger, but leaving all of the flavor in the ginger in the oil. So that's going to be like the characteristic of our dipping sauces. We've got MSG, we've got salt, we've got sugar, so we've got all of those flavors that balance out and like almost harmonize. And then when you pour hot oil over it, it's all just going to bind. It's going to melt all of our sugar. In this bathroom shouting. The hot oil is going to like harmonize, bring it all together, melt the sugar, melt the MSG, melt the salt, and leave us with this beautiful dipping sauce. So now my ginger ever so slightly starting to brown, right? You can see that the individuality into the chilies first, right? So half of this is going to go into here, like that. And that's our chili dip. And then the spring onions, I'm going to throw into this and just let them fry for a sec. Kill the heat and just let those spring onions sit. You don't want it to be completely covered in oil. You almost want the oil to be like a binder. You almost want it to be like salsa verde-ish or like chimichurri vibe, but not drowning in this oil. Also, this oil that you're taking out, do not throw this away, man. This is full of fucking flavor. Spring onions, MSG, salt, sugar, sesame oil. Use that for stir frying, use it for other dishes. But this, This is what you want your spring onion to look like. Here. And this is just taking chicken and rice to another level. We're also going to serve it with a little bit of cucumber, and it's good just to dip a bit of cucumber in this or a bit of that and be like, oh yeah, fucking wooey. That's fucking nice, that, isn't it? Oh, chili one's hot. Fuck. I'm a believer in if you advertise something as chili, it should be pungent, in your face, robust, almost like arrogant. That's that. I'm gonna pull the chicken out. I'm gonna bring the rice out. We're gonna plate, and I'm gonna walk you through what happens to the chicken after it's cooked. Yeah? Happy? Good. See you soon. Right, so chili sauce is done. Spring onion sauce is done. Rice is cooked. My neighbours are having their work done. Don't mind them. They're nice people. Last one is sweet soy. Yeah, really easy. 1, oh shit. 2, 3. 1, 2, sugar. Yeah, mix that together. So then we're going to go in with like 2 tablespoons of the hot broth that we poached our chicken in. That's free. Nice, tastes like Chinese shop. So let's talk about chicken. We simmered it for 40 minutes. We've done this thing. At no point did it boil. For 40 minutes, our chicken's been like in this bath of deliciousness, in a sauna or jacuzzi of flavors, yeah? Once that's done, I pulled my chicken out and it went directly into ice water, yeah? This means that our chicken skin, you see how like tense our chicken skin is? Taut, it's pulled fucking like straight over the bird. Nice. I then discarded anything that was in the water, but please, motherfuckers, keep the juice, yeah? This is what this is. This is the stock, right? The same stock that we've cooked our rice in. This is now like fucking free soup. And do you know what the best kind of soup is, bruv? Free soup. You get me? Chicken's been allowed to cool. We're just gonna taste our broth and make sure that we've got all the nice flavors in it. It's come up to the boil, but it's like clear and delicious. It is like what Camille said, it is chicken water, I give it to him, but it's got more flavor than just what that sounds like. Now, when I say get rid of everything that's in the pan, the only thing I want you to keep is the shiitake mushrooms, yeah? Shiitake. These we're just gonna slice up, and I wanna serve these in our soup. Again, just as like free flavor. Do you know what I mean? You've paid for them, they've gone in, they've poached away. And like, although these have been cooking for 45 minutes, they're still like almost firm. And I really fucking like shiitake mushrooms. I like the woodiness, I like the autumnal flavor, I like the chew, I like everything about shiitake. I wouldn't go as far as saying it was my favorite mushroom, but I do like a fucking shiitake. There's a place in my heart for shiitakes always. Once again, for the fucking 5th time, I'm gonna cut a spring onion, yeah? Our broth is warm. I'm gonna cut a spring onion, and this is all we're garnishing our broth with, right? Is shiitake mushrooms and some spring onions. I'm gonna bang these shiitakes in the bottom of this bowl. I'm gonna cover it in like our clear, beautiful poaching chicken water. And I'm just gonna plonk these spring onions in. And that's gonna be free soup. Done. That looks delicious already in a cute little bowl that I found in the shed. But let's get on to stars of the show, the reason that we've been doing this all fucking morning. And I know that's not the best way to advertise making something, but trust me, this is delicious. I'm just gonna break through the skin of this chicken. And we're gonna peel away our meat, right? Now, it is important that you use a very good bird for this. We're just slowly going to peel this chicken breast away. Beautiful cooked chicken breast. Look at it. We're going to slice this into pretty thick chunks. Skin still intact. Beautiful piece of poached chicken. No dry shit around here, cuz. The skin's still intact because we did the ice dunk, yeah? Look at that, beautiful, presented beautifully. I know it's a little white on white and it's not what we really go for as chefs, but this is one of those dishes that has been in the world for that long and gone to so many different places and been championed by so many different people that it isn't one to fuck with, bruv. And then I'm gonna do a nice mound of this beautiful, this is the chicken rice that we made. Look at golden, delicious. Still got bits of chicken fat in it. Smells like ginger and garlic. I'm just gonna fill up this titty shaped mold. This isn't gonna fit, but we're gonna do it anyway. Just for freshness, I've zebra peeled a cucumber. So it's got a little bit of skin on, a little bit of flesh. I'm gonna plonk it, I say here, like that. Look at that prettiness, like being in fucking a proper restaurant, mate. And then garnish is up to you, right? But I quite like a nice plonk, like a Brazilian of the coriander, a Brazilian of the spring onion. And get the oil on there because the oil's got the fucking flavour of the ginger. And then I'm just going to do little sporadic plonks of chilli. Like so. And that's pretty much it, to be honest. Chicken, rice, cucumber, little bowl, bloody hell. Little bowl of free soup, and that is how it's done. Nice, isn't it? Right. Food like this makes me happy, man. Like, I know it's taken a while to come together, but it's delicious. I got free soup. Oh, bro. Little bites of like fresh spring onion and then earthiness that comes through from the shiitake. Fantastic. Honestly, making this just to have a load of this in your fridge or freezer is always worth it. And then you've got this plate of absolutely beautiful food to attack. Look at that, man. I grew up despising boiled chicken when my mum and dad made it because it was fucking shit and dry. But this is just soft and delicious. The skin's tight and like gives you like that meaty, fatty deliciousness that you really want. And then you've got this rice that's got all of the fucking chicken flavours in it. Spike with some sweet soy sauce. I'm gonna put some over our chicken as well because that's gonna give us a saltiness. It's gonna cut through the oil. The chili sauce is strong. And then you get bored of chewing and you're like, oh, I just want to slurp some soup. Fucking mad, bro. My sauces are deep, spicy, spiky. I've got savouriness, I've got salt, I've got sweet, I've got umami, I've got cleanse. And I like when there's multiple things, it's almost like an assault course of food that's keeping you entertained whilst eating. So like, I feel like there's certain dishes that you can be at dinner with and just like fucking spoon a bowl of pasta into your mouth and have the same profile all the way through and it'd be delicious. But with this, Good food on this level almost encourages conversation. Have you tried this? Oh, look at that. Let me take a break. Let me cleanse my palate with some soup. There's like fucking different levels and elements where the food takes you. And for me, if you said to me, let's sit down and eat Hainanese chicken and rice tonight, maybe 4 nights of the week I'm with you, I'm in. As the end of every recipe goes, please make this. There's so many little technical intricacies in this dish that if you learn how to do them, broadens your cooking language as far as you can think. Like, being able to poach a chicken opens the doors to making ramen. Cooking nice rice means that you've got fried rice or you've got fucking rice soups. Learning balance between garnishes where you've got a spicy one, a savoury one and an umami one. All of these things are gateways into different fucking parts of cooking, and they're all fundamentals, and I hope to God that you do them and you start to learn these things, and your cooking experience and eating food for you is as good as it is for me, man. I fucking love doing this shit, and it's dishes like this that keep me alive. Thank you very much. Enjoy. See you soon. Bye. This one.
Actually, that's my top 3 favourite recipes you've ever done in your life.
Thanks, babes.
Chop House Films.
Can you say films?
Film.
Films.
Films.